White Warriors, Brotherhood Beyond Blood. This video I'll explore what it really means to have a brotherhood that goes beyond blood. Can I find true connections and redefine family? Before we continue, please like and subscribe to our channel to support our community. Brotherhood Beyond Blood is a concept that's all about forming relationships through shared experiences and values rather than just family ties. It's about finding people who share your passions, your interests, and your sense of humor, and forming a bond that's just as strong as any family tie. White warriors, they were stolen as youngsters, raised as warriors, and forever caught between two worlds. They became brothers and warriors, and when the time came, they became the sons of white settlers. They were captured by Native American tribes, but they became more than just fighters against their own people. From the beginning of European settlement to the frontier's closure, hundreds of white people returned. They embraced their new surroundings, riding alongside warriors who had once been children. Some were taken by native tribes in brutal raids, while others were taken in times of desperation. Some were returned to their families, while others were never recaptured, either by choice or fate. In battle, they became enigmas. To the settlers, they were traitors, but to the adopted people, they were sons. They were not simply survival, but leaders in war parties against the U.S. Army. They were essential members of their tribes, learning the language, customs, and border militias. Many of the white warriors of the tribes refused to return, becoming Comanche, Apache, and Cheyenne, not only in prison, but also in their hearts and souls. This is their story. Judge Jones and his family arrived in Texas in 1840, landing just north of Austin. Despite the constant threat of Indian raids, they thrived for 2 years. Their narrative is about captivity, metamorphosis, the determination to live, and the blurring of identity in the heart of the American frontier. In the summer of 1842, Manamed Davis was grazing in the valley when he observed a group of warriors descending the slopes of College Hill. He jumped into the saddle and galloped southward toward town. Joseph Lee, another settler, saw the chase unfold and spurred his own horse forward, raising the alarm. The warriors, losing interest in Davis, turned northwest. However, their hunt was not very successful. They pressed on toward the home of Judge Jones. At first, they set their sights on a man named Larrabee, who had escaped into a thicket. The encounter appeared peaceful. The warriors approached Tonkawaz, his 14-year-old son, and a hired hand claiming to be friendly. They smiled and gesticulated casually until one grabbed the little boy's arm. The judge and his family stood by their fence. Jones, holding his young son, stepped forward, but the illusion of peace had been shattered. The hired guy was cut down precisely where he stood. James reached his doorstep just as a bullet tore through him. His wife, miraculously unscathed, stared in horror as an arrow struck the young boy. During the chaos, the warriors kidnapped a 14-year-old boy and forced him onto a pony. Judge Janes took his final breaths and assisted Mrs. Janes in pulling the arrow from her wounded child. The fate of the kidnapped boy was unknown. However, settlers later reported seeing a white warrior riding with the Comanche who bore a striking resemblance to the boy. In 1789, 9-year-old John Tanner was kidnapped by Ojibwa raiders. He was taken from his home, but over time he transformed into an Ojibwa warrior. Under the guidance of an Ojibwa family, he learned the way of the hunt, mastered the bow, and turned his back on the world. He was a German-American settler's son who was kidnapped by Apache warriors at the age of 11. He fought alongside the Ojibwa against American settlers during the War of 1812. Herman Lehman lived in Texas. His kidnapping converted him from a family's homestead near Loya Valley, Texas, into a powerful Apache warrior. In 1870, Lehman was kidnapped while working on his brother, but they spared young Herman and raised him as their own. Under their guidance, he learned to hunt, fight, and survive in the harsh Southwest landscape. He eventually embraced their way of life, forgetting his old identity and taking medicine during a dispute, forcing him to flee and live alone before joining the Enda tribe. His transformation was complete when he killed an Enda. For nearly a decade, Lehman lived as a warrior, defending settlements and resisting American expansion. He struggled to reintegrate into settler culture and became deeply ingrained in native culture. However, his world changed again in 1878 when U.S. soldiers captured him and returned him to his biological family. Despite adapting, he stayed connected to his Apache and Comanche roots until his death in 1932. He was dubbed the White Savage by his opponents. Simon Girty was a youngster when his father was tomahawked to death during an Indian raid. He was taken by Seneca warriors and lived among them for several years, learning their language, habits, and lifestyle. Girty, unlike some captives who sought to return to their colonial societies, aligned with the British and Native American tribes who resisted British and later American colonies. However, he became disillusioned with the American native culture. As a young man, he left the tribe to work as a scout and interpreter for their treatment of Native Americans, and by the time of the American Revolution, American expansion. Girty had a key role in organizing Native resistance against American settlers. He collaborated with Shawnee, Wyandot, and Delaware tribes, often directing raids on frontier settlements. Girty was present at various conflicts, including the Siege of Fort Henry and the Battle of Blue Lakes. Girty was seen as a vicious traitor by American settlers. He was accused of the death of Colonel William Crawford in 1782, when he allegedly committed atrocities such as torturing prisoners. One of the most infamous deeds was the burning of Crawford by native warriors. According to some accounts, he laughed, while others suggest he tried to save Crawford but was unable to stop the execution. Following the defeat of native forces at the Battle of Fallen Timbers, Girty continued to live among native tribes. After the Treaty of Greenville in 1795, Girty fled to Canada and lived in relative obscurity for the rest of his life. John Dunn Hunter was seized as a youngster by the Osage in the early 1800s and grew up steeped in native culture, learning their language, customs, and way of life. He died in 1818, blind and suffering from alcoholism. Hunter lived among various tribes, including the Kickapoo, Osage, and Cherokee, and wrote memoirs that captivated American and European audiences. He described his loyalty to native peoples. In the early 1820s, Hunter re-entered white society, criticizing U.S. expansionism and advocating for fair treatment of Native Americans. Hunter relocated to Texas and attempted to win rights for native tribes in East Texas, which resulted in an autonomous Native American-led settlement. He sided with Cherokee leader Richard Fields in a fight with Mexican authorities and other factions. In 1827, Weatherford was assassinated by opponents of his activism. He and his mixed ancestry brother, Joshua Harlan, played important roles in Native American history, alongside British General Isaac Brock, Alexander McGillivray, and William. The circumstances of his death remain unknown. Weatherford, in particular, led resistance against Andrew Jackson before surrendering. History remembers these individuals as outcasts, traitors, or legends, but for the people they fought by, they were just family, bonded not by blood, but by something even greater: loyalty. Their friendship has been a source of strength and inspiration for them, and it's helped them grow and develop as individuals. They've learned to communicate effectively, to trust each other, and to support each other through the ups and downs of life. They've also learned to be there for each other in the tough times and to celebrate each other's successes. Their bond is a reminder that family is not just about blood ties, but about the connections we make with others. The bond between them is built on trust, loyalty, and mutual respect, and it's something that they cherish deeply. They've been through so much together, and they've come out stronger on the other side. Their story is a powerful reminder of the importance of non-familial brotherhood, and it shows that these relationships can bring so much joy and fulfillment to our lives. Brotherhood is about having people who've got your back, who understand you, and who support you through thick and thin. And it's not limited to just familial ties. It's a powerful concept that can bring so much joy and fulfillment to our lives, and it's essential for our personal growth and community. If you've got a story of brotherhood that you'd like to share, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my other video on building meaningful relationships.